So this is the server. We will take this server. Here we will go to the setting. Then here we have to add the hard disk. Add hard disk. Then next, then select the IDE. Then next, we have to create a new hard disk. Then here we have to give the 5 GB. You can take any amount, but here I will take 5 GB. Then store the virtual disk as a single file. Then next, select the path. Here I will take this one. Then save. Then finish. I have added one disk. Then we will add another disk. IDE. Next. 5 GB. Single file. Next. Select the path. Then finish. Now what we'll do, we will apply the changes. Then start the virtual machine. Server started. Now what we'll do, we will connect the server to the terminal. This is the IP address. Control L to clear the screen. Now the command is fdisk -l. Using this command, we can check the hard disk details. Okay. So this is the first hard disk. You can say this is fdisk-l. This is the first hard disk we have added whenever we have installed the OS. That is 20 GB. And from that disk, we have created 2 partitions. Then now we have added the another disk having 5 GB. This is the SDA format. As I told you, this is the first hard disk. Then this is SDB. This is also 5 GB. Okay, we have added 2 disks. Here it is showing. And out of these disks, we have not created any partition. That's why no partition showing here. Okay. Now what we'll do, we'll create partition from this disk. For that, we have to use the command fdisk/db SDA. Hit enter. fdisk/db SDA. Now here you can see command aim for help. Here hit enter. You can see these are the options we can use here. Okay. So here you can see add new partition. We have to enter n. If you want to see the partitions details, here you can use the P option. Then another important option is Q. Q without saving the changes. W write table to disk. Okay. So what we will do, we will hit N to create a partition. Then you can notice here, we can create 2 types of partition. One is primary partition, another is extended partition. Okay. And for primary partition, you can notice also, we can create only 4 partitions. Okay. Whenever we will create the partition, we can create only 4 partitions in case of MBR. If we go for the GPT partition, then we can create unlimited partition. For here you can see GPT partition, DOS partition. These are the partition type also we can choose. Here we are creating the DOS partition type. That's why here we can create only 4 primary partition, then unlimited extended partition. Unlimited means from A to Z you can create. So here hit enter or press P to create the primary partition first. Then here we have to take the number. Here you can see default is 1. So we will hit enter because this is the first partition we are creating. That's why it will take the 1 number. Then we have to define the space. We have to define the how much amount space we will take. Here we will, as it is a only 5 GB disk, we will hit enter here. It will take the initial location. This is the initial location of that disk. And this is the last location. So we will hit enter to take the entire location, entire range. That's why it will create a partition of 5 GB. Now here what we have to do, we have to save changes. That's why we can press W. Now again hit the same command fd/db/sda. Here enter P to check. You can see SDA is the new partition created from the SD/db SDA disk, which is the first partition. Okay, so Q to exit. Now use the fdisk -l command. fdisk -l command. You can see from SDA one partition is created, that is SDA1, and the size is 5 GB. Okay, and the type is Linux. Now what we will do, we will create another 2 partitions from the SDB, and let's check it will how it is looking. The command is fdisk/dev sdb. Hit enter. Here we have to press N. Now again we have to hit enter. It will create the primary partition. Hit enter to default one. Hit enter to take the initial location. Here what we have to do, we have to define the size, because we will get more than one partition. Okay, what we will do, plus 2G. Hit enter. It will take 2 GB of space. Okay, now what we will do, here we have to enter, use the W. W will save the change. Now again if this, here enter P. You can see one partition is created having 2 GB space. Now what we will do, again we will create, hit and use the N to create another partition. Again P. You can see default is 2. That means one partition created, another one primary partition we can use, else we can use also extended. But here we will go for the P partition. P for partition primary, then hit the enter to take the number 2. Then we will select the initial location, then last location. Now W to save. Again check. P to print. You can see 2 partition created. One is SDB1, SDB2. As we have learned earlier, this is the format. Whenever we will create partitions, it will take the format SDA, SDA2, SDA3, and this is the format. So we can also see here, this is the format. It is creating multiple partitions. Okay, now what is the next step? So Q to exit. Now use the fdisk-l command. You can see from SDA, SDA1 is one partition created having 5 GB. From SDB, you can see SDB1 and SDB2, 2 partitions created. One is 2 GB, another is 3 GB. Okay, these are the partition we have created now. So once we created partition, can we able to use that partition for store data? For that, we have to use the command df-h. df-h. Using the df-h command, we can see all the mount points. So what is the difference between the mount point and the partition? Let's understand. These are the partition we have created. Okay, these are the partition we have created. But once we created partitions, we cannot use that partition to store the data, because it will not show for use. Then what we have to do? Let's say /dev/sda. We have created the partition /dev/sda1. Okay, to use this one, what we have to do? We have to mount it. So here command is fdisk-l. Okay, but once created the partition, we have to use the command mount command. using the mount command, what we will do, we will mount this partition on a directory so that we can use that. For that, what we have to do? First, we have to create a folder or directory. So it is the step 1. First, we have added the disk. Then step 2, we have created a partition. Then step 3, we have to create a directory. Create a directory. Then step 5, mount the directory. So here, what I have to do? We have to create a directory. Now we are where? We are in the root user's home location, that is the /root. But we have to create any directory anywhere out from the home directory. So what we'll do? We will change our directory to the /. Press LL here. Here, create a directory using the mkdir command. This command we will learn more, but for now, remember this command. Using mkdir command, we can create a directory. What is directory? Directory means a folder like in Windows. We will create a directory using the name, let's say bkp. Okay. Now what we'll do? We have created a directory. We have completed the step number 4. We have created the directory. Now what to do? We have to mount it. How we can mount? Command is mount. Please note down it. Mount, then source /deb sda1, then destination. Destination is bkp. This is the command. Okay. Command is, let me write you, mount /deb /sda sda1 /pkp. Okay, this is the command, this is the source, this is the destination. Okay, so hit enter here. Before that, we have to remember here it is giving me warning because mount bkp wrong file system type. That means we have created the partition, but till now we have not formatted it. You can remember in case of Windows, whenever we have create a partition, after that we have to format that partition. Here in our case, we have created the partition, but till now we have not formatted it. Okay, in which format we have to use? If we use the command df-h, here you can see df-h, here you can see these are the mount points. Okay, we are trying to do this mount point, but it is giving me error because wrong file system. That means we have not defined a partition type. So what is the partition type? Here you can use the command capital TH. Please remember, if you want to see the partition type, we have to use the capital T with the df command. df-capital TH. Please write it. You can see type is XFS. Here we are using the XFS. Okay, so what are the partition type? File system type. File system type are ext1, 2, 3, 4 and XFS. Likewise in Windows FAT32, NTFS, FAT16 also. Okay, these are the format we are using in Windows. So in case of Linux, ext1, ext2, 3, 4 and XFS. Nowadays we are using ext4 and XFS. What is ext4? ext4 means extended file system. Okay. sorry, XFS means extended file system, and for ext4 for ext4, that is fourth extended file. ext4, that is fourth extended, please write down it, extended file system. If you have any doubt, please raise your hand in GeoMeet. XFS, that is extended file system. Okay, this is the two partition type currently you are using. You can notice also here the partition type is XFS. So why XFS and why not ext4? Because XFS is the latest file technology we are using. And what is the difference between ext4 and XFS? This is the latest one, this is the older one. But in case of ext4, if we will configure the LVM, please remember the word LVM. We will learn this in next class. In case of LVM, we can extend and reduce the space of the partition whenever we are using the LVM. But in case of ext4, sorry, XFS, we can only extend. We cannot reduce. We cannot reduce. Only you can extend. Once we extend, we cannot reduce it. Whenever we will use the LVM configuration. Okay. So here you can see we are using the XFS partition type. To make a format of a partition, we have to use the command please write down also this command mkfs dot ext4 slash deb slash sda1. Similarly, for XFS, mkfs dot xfs slash deb slash sda2. This is the command to make a partition format. So here what we will do? We will use mkfs dot ext4 slash deb slash sda1. Now format completed. Now we will try to mount the partition. mount mount slash deb sda1 then slash bkp. You can see there is no error. Now what we will do? Use the command df-capital ts. Here you can see sd1 is mounted and the partition type is ext4 and mounted over slash bkp and size is 5 GB. So now this partition is ready to use. So what we will do? cd slash db not db slash bkp, hit enter, mkdir a ls. You can see a directory is created here. So this is the way we can add a disk. Then we have to so this is the way we have to add a disk, then partition that disk, then we have to create a directory, then we have to then here we have missed one step. we have to format the disk. Format disk, then we have to mount the disk. Then only we can use that disk. Can anyone tell me, here we have mounted the disk. Now if we reboot the server, this mount point will available or not? Because you can notice these partitions are always available because we have repeatedly restarted the server. But in this case, if this partition will exit or not, can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me, if we reboot the server, that partition will available me for me or not? That mount point will available me for me or not? Okay, let's check what happening. Now what we'll do, we will reboot the server. To reboot the server, we have to use the init6 command. Please remember this command. In future classes, we will learn why we are using init6 to reboot. So server started. Now use the command df capital TH. Here you can see previously we have mounted that disk, but we have rebooted the server. Now that mount point is not available. Why this is happening? Yes, it will happen because if we use the mount command, that mount command will work until we have restarted the server. Once we rebooted the server, that mount command will not work. For that, what we have to do? We have to uh, do a permanent solution. That file is cat/etc fstab. Please note down this etc fstab. Now here, one more step we have to do. This is the step 5, this is 6. Then another step we have to do /etc /fstar entry. Here we have to enter a mount point entry. Then only that partition will work whenever we will reboot the server. You can see this is the slash. Slash means root. Here it is a entry for the root partition. That's why whenever we are rebooting the server, that partition is not going away. That partition is always available across the reboot. For our partition, we have to also add a entry for that partition. Let's clear the screen again. Try to understand. So what is the format? This is the source. Source means this is the partition. This is the directory where that partition is mounted. This is the format, means partition type, and this is the some default setting we have to add. Now edit the file using the vi command. Please remember, in next classes we will learn about the vi command. Till now, please remember the vi command. Now we are trying to edit the fstab using the vi command. Okay, once we open that configuration file etc fstab, here we have to press I to edit that file. Go to the bottom of the file, enter. Now we are ready to add our partition type here. So what is our source? /db sda1, then hit a tab so that it will take proper space, then /bkp. This is the directory where we are trying to mount. Then partition type is xfs. Hit a tab, it will take proper space, then defaults, then 0, then 0. 1 space 0. Okay, this is the format we have to remember. Then save this file using the right and quit colon right and quit. You can notice colon right and how it will work. Here we are in insert mode. Here we have to use the escape button so that we will exit from the insert mode. Then colon WQ. Then enter. Now use the cat command to check if the entry what we have made in the file that is available or not. You can see that is available. So what we'll do now df-th if we use this command, here no partition is available. Okay. Please remember whenever we have made any changes in the fstab file, to make changes effective we have to reboot the server. But another way also is there, that is mount-a command. Mount-a. Please remember, whenever we will do any changes in the fstab configuration file, we have to immediately run the command mount-a. Please remember, please write down also. Command is mount-a. Please notice whenever I am writing a command, from before that I am using the hash. Okay, why I am using the hash? You can notice here it is a hash. That's why to identify every time I am writing a command I am using a hash. Here the command is mount-a. It is the best practice. Whenever we will make any changes in the fstab configuration, we will use the mount-a command, because if there is any error in the entry what we have made in the fstab, it will show using the mount-a command. If we will not run that command and reboot the server and we have a mistake in that file, what we did in last changes, the server will not start, it will give the error. Okay, so it is always remember to use the mount-a command. You can notice /bkp wrong fs type, because we did some mistake in that fstab, because we have to identify and we have to change that. You can see the partition type we have formatted is ext4, but in xfs, but in fstab, what we did, we have here we have written xfs. So this is the format type we have used the wrong partition type. That's why it is giving me error. In this case, if we reboot the server, what will happen? Let's check. Now I am given the I96. I have rebooted the server. Okay, ignoring the error. What will happen? You can see our server not started properly. Here it is giving me error. Press Ctrl D to continue. This is the Ctrl D error. Ctrl D error means my server having the error with the fstab entry. So what we have to do? Here we have to use the root partition, root users password to enter to the server. If I will press Ctrl D, then my server will reboot again. It will not go to the server. Here you can also do one thing. You can use the journal ctl-xb. You can see here it is showing. Here we have to use the root user password to enter the server. Now I am in server. Then I have to edit the fstab. vi/etc fstab. Go to that line what we did last time. Go to the insert mode, then change here txt4. Now save the configuration, go out. Now check again cat /etc star. You can see now our entry is correct. Use the mount-a command to validate. You can see there is no error. Now reboot the server. You can see server started. So please remember, whenever we did any changes, whenever we will try to do any changes in the fstab, immediately we have to use the mount-a command to validate our changes. Okay. If we will do any mistake in the fstab entry and we will reboot the server, server will not start properly. It will give the control error.